Alright, we're going to put these together now. You want to look for your arrow. Arrow goes towards the flywheel. This is number 1, flat side in the center. Arrow towards the flywheel. We're going to install the clip on the flat side. These can be tricky. Get it in there, you want to turn it, make sure it's happy. So if it's in, should be able to gently grab it and rotate it. These aren't moving very freely. There we go. It's in there. I'm going to put a little lube on that. And pin boss. We got the pin boss lube. We're going to put some oil on the skirt. A little bit up on the rings. I don't get an excessive amount on the rings, so you want the rings to break in, and if you get too much oil on them, they can smoke. So we're going to position our rings. I don't like to put any rings ever towards the wrist pin. We're going to put one towards the top. I'm going to put one at 3 o'clock or 2, and one over here. I don't like to put them towards the bottom either, because what happens is the oil settles on the bottom of the cylinder down here, and when you fire it up, the motor smokes. So you always want to make sure that your rings are clocked towards the top, and that'll eliminate that problem. So we're going to give it a little bit of oil there on the rings. Screwer likes to go dry with those. I can't ever do it, so I put a little bit in there and move the ring pack around, and then reposition my rings one more time. And now we're ready to install this. So we'll move it up and down in there. Well, you want to see how to do this, dude?
It's cool, dude.
Ken wants
I'll watch it later.
Ken wants to learn all that. So anyway, you're going to need a wooden handle, ring compressor. Pull the piston up. We'll slide the ring compressor on here. Easier said than done. There we go. Check our arrow one more time. Check to make sure our clip's in there. We got it all lubed up. Now we're going to take the hammer and square the tool on top of the cylinder. We're going to drive it on into the hole. And we're going to wipe the cylinder off. You want the surface clean, of course. And the reason we take these out is because the rings aren't clocked from the factory. Now what we're going to do is push this up. Finger in there so you don't drive it out too much. You just want to expose the pinhole. And now we can install our pin, and we're ready to install this on the motor. This is our number 1. We'll put this on. We'll put our clip over here. We'll put some lube on these, and we got 3 more of these to do. So that's the process. So that's our number 1 cylinder. I should say our number 3. This is going to be number 4. Arrow, good to go there. Our arrow is going to go towards the flat spot because that's towards the flywheel. The round cylinder goes towards the front of the motor. And again, we're going to take our rings and clock them towards the top of the piston. On an American car, you can put them on each side of the skirt. You never want to put a piston in the pin location because a piston is cam cut. It's not a round circle. It's got more clearance here than it does here. So it's a good idea to put the rings on the top. The oil ring can be positioned in this area. This is where I usually put the gap for that. Right under the pin, but not at the bottom again, because when the car shuts off it gets oil that sits in the cylinder, and if you fire it up with the rings down here and have a gap, it'll smoke. So there we go. Got our arrow pointing the way we need it. Our rings up here. Move this one around. So there we go. That's how it's going to go on the motor. And we're going to put the clip on the inside here. Go. Again, you want to make sure it's in the groove, and then you just grab it and make sure it rotates. Pin boss gets a little lube. This is a little stickier than the oil. It stays in the boss a little better. Rub it in there with your finger. It's called Ultra Slick. I'm sure you guys have seen it before. So. Alrighty. Got all our rings positioned. Put a little oil on the skirts again. A little bit on the ring package. And work it in. So the ring's got some cushion. You don't have to soak them, but make sure they have something to cushion the load. There you go. New rack time. Pull that out. Okay, we got our arrow again. You want to keep checking over and over. The arrow has to go towards the flywheel, and that has to be sitting flat on top of the jug. There you go. That may be harder than it looks on video. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I'll put a few of these together, so. Alright, so now we're going to the 1 and 2 side. This is the 3 and 4 side. I'll wipe some of my smeg up here and keep it clean. And you want to put the cylinder, you know, the way it's going to go on the motor. So this is number 1, flat fins. The flat fins, round part to the outside of the motor. Arrow towards the flywheel every time. So the same thing, we're going to position the ring package. This might be getting old. So I have one ring package over here, one here, and my oil package here. Nothing on the bottom where the oil settles in the cylinder. I have the ring or the cylinder and the orientation the way it goes, and my arrow is pointing towards the flywheel. I'm going to loop the pins. We're going to put our snap ring on the flat side. Again, make sure it's in the groove, make sure you rotate it and it moves freely, and make sure that it's on the right side. So it's on the flat side, arrow's pointing towards the flywheel. Okay, a little Earl. If you totally douche the piston rings with oil, they won't seal. Especially if you use a good quality assembly lube, you can have a big problem with the pistons ever sealing to the cylinders. Again, you want to rotate the rings and make sure that you've got oil incorporated in the ring pack. Arrow's going towards the flywheel. We got our snap ring in the flat side of the cylinder. And we're going to put our ring compressor on. I'm going to grab the go.
Did I fail you here, dude?
Using up the rags. My rag man didn't have a rag for it. And that's like Richard Wallner's not having a beer. Where's my beer?
We can do that.
I don't drink. Damn it. Alright, so you want to make sure the tool's flat on the cylinder again and all that good stuff. That one didn't go. That happens sometimes. Start over. When that happens, just stop. Don't force it. Check the ring. Make sure you didn't break anything. Kidding's bad luck, so this shit happens when you got a bad luck guy around. Sometimes.
So my wife says.
Shit that never happens will happen, and you just